My name is Sharzad Morgan. Thanks for watching my video today. We're going to be talking about the hookup culture and why I am opposed to hookup culture. It does not benefit women, and this is why. So let's start the video. To me, there's nothing empowering about hookup culture, which means that women who are having sex for free outside of a relationship, whether you call it casual sex, friends with benefits, pump and dump, rail and bail, throw in some other monikers I might not know. The majority of us ladies already feel in our bodies or realize later in life it does not benefit us. An egg is more costly than sperm. That's why. A man and a woman are of equal value. I mean, gosh, we need men to do the construction, the mining, the infrastructure, the architecture. Without men, we would have no civilization. We would all be destitute. Men do the farming, the trucking, they build things. Without men, we wouldn't have this phone now. We wouldn't have YouTube. We wouldn't have anything. So I'm not saying that men are not of value. I'm just saying an egg is more valuable than a sperm, more costly. It's more costly to a woman to make the wrong choice than it is for a man, because the sperm, he just ejaculates and he has no obligation, no commitment, no investment. He can just ejaculate anywhere, right? I'm just talking about the biology of the sexual encounter. A sperm can travel anywhere without investment, without any consequences. Just give me that thing to slide into, her mouth, her vagina, whatever. I can just release my sperm and go on my merry way, right? But an egg must be selective, because the consequences of a bad choice are life-altering. Life-altering. Okay, that's evolution. Why life-altering? Because we can get pregnant, and pregnancy is life-altering for a woman. And I'm not just talking about all of the difficulties of pregnancy and the wear and tear on the body. Like, have you heard of like uterine collapse and women? I mean, all kinds of stuff. But women still die in childbirth. Maybe not so much in this country, but it's dangerous. And then you have the lactation and the child rearing, which still mostly falls on the woman during the infant's years. And even later on, I think there's more of a bond with young kids that the mom has more with the child. But in any case, to a woman's body and her life, it is life-altering. Okay? So a woman has a lot more at stake in a sexual encounter. Well, you might say, hey, not so fast. We have birth control. We have birth control. Okay, now I am menopausal. I don't have to worry about that, but I'm still aligned with my biology and I still feel this. I'm not even talking about the difference in sexual pleasure here. Let's just talk about the risks to the egg, the risk to the woman. Now, we try to bypass this whole evolutionary selectivity thing because we have birth control. But we're still left with the reality that women are more likely to become emotionally entangled when we have sex, more likely to get an STD, likely to get pregnant. Birth control is not 100%, still likely to get pregnant, and have all the risk of childbirth and the investment in pregnancy, nursing, and child rearing. Okay, we still have that reality. We still have that reality. And so there's really, I mean, women want sex. Do not get me wrong. We love sex. Good sex with someone we select. Like, we want it. We don't want it just with a random stranger. We have more at risk. And what the feminists have done is try to convince us that we can be like men. In fact, there's an agenda to convince us that our biology is a man is just a social construct, completely disregarding the differences in our physical abilities, our interests, our differences, our actual physical differences, like they're trying to erase it and make us all the same. But I was listening to a video the other day where she was talking about how the history books have completely left out the anti-feminists, that there have always been women who didn't want the right to vote, I guess, that apparently these women thought, well, if we have the right to vote, then we have to be responsible for governing, and we like that men are doing this. And that a matriarchy could never exist, that there really was never a matriarchal society, that we have not ever found any successful matriarchal societies that have lived long enough to have a culture or that we could write about, where certainly people worshipped goddesses. That doesn't mean that matriarchies could really exist. Because, and that makes sense to me, a lot of the problems that we're having in our mating market now is this feminist movement where women have become, I think, lost without the calming, protective influence of men. They have devalued men. So a lot of these feminists really were angry. It wasn't really about equal rights so much as the idea that in an ideal world for these feminists, we don't need men, or we don't want men. And I think this is all very wrong and very damaging. I think that for me, ideally, we come back to a world where people are having sex in relationships and women are in touch with their embodied sexuality. Embodied sexuality, because when I talk to guys that are like, oh yeah, hooked up with this woman and that woman, these are not nurturing motherly types. Nurturing motherly types, okay? Like femininity is about being nurturing and motherly and caring and protective. And it's just not in our nature to just go around hooking up. Like guys who just go around finding women to just hook up with them, I'm finding low quality women. Now, I know that there are people saying that they're in a I know there's someone who watches my channel who is a polyamorous relationship, but that's a relationship. I'm speaking of hookup culture, where you're just a side fling, just someone that he comes over to fucks on the side. I don't think that women thrive in that. I would like to see a woman who actually thrives in that, who's like, I love hookup culture. I want to hear that. I have not come across that, like a woman who's like really thriving and alive and joyful in her hookup culture. I tried it after my divorce and it was very, very emotionally draining for me. It was not emotionally fulfilling for me. Okay. So, what are we going to come back to as women? Ideally, we would get into relationships. That's what I keep saying. Ideally, we would get into relationships. But a lot of men don't want relationships. If you look at the guys who checked out of mating market, it's the guys under 30, the guys who grew up with smartphones, because they lost their social skills. Maybe they're playing a lot of video games. Their phone infiltrated their brain development, and they don't even know how to try to man up to get a woman. And then also the feminists have made I would say the divorce laws in favor of women, but that has shifted a lot. Like everybody I know who got divorced in the last 5 or 10 years is doing split custody, and the men are not paying child support or alimony because the women are all working now and making as much money as the men. So that's just like an internet meme about the women will take all your money. I guess people do split their assets, and if that is part of the thing of marriage. Maybe people don't want to get married. Maybe people want to sign a prenup. You know, that would make sense. For every year of marriage, I will get this much to help me get back on my feet until I can work again or whatever. I don't have all the answers, but I am very convinced that when guys are hooking up with women, they're getting very low quality women, emotionally damaged women. And I also want to speak to women too, that if you love sex and you don't like hooking up, there's nothing wrong with that. That's why I think relationships are really like the best way to have sex, if you can get into a relationship. That's what I think. But I want to know what you think. So I will be back for the comments, and if I don't like a comment, I won't give it a heart. Like guys commenting on my looks or my clothing or that I'm so beautiful, I don't want to comment on that because I'm not here for that. I try to look very unsexy in my videos. Every once in a while I'll do like a bikini thing so that people won't think I'm some dumpy fat lady talking from I can't get guys. I do the bikini videos once in a while to be like I'm 62, but I'm still pretty fit and attractive and interested in men, and men still find me attractive. So I'm not coming from I'm some dumpy old lady that nobody wants. That's why I do that. But generally, I just want to be on here for spreading ideas and learning from you all. Again, my name is Sharzad Morgan, and I approve this message.